Alright, we're back at it from a little bit of a break. It's not like, no, I don't even know what last day we worked on. When? Tuesday? Tuesday maybe? Now it's Tuesday again. So, still just got this floor up a little bit. Still need to take all that out of here. Throw it in the add-on back there. I was checking the levels with this level. It looks like these two joists are really high. I think that one is, that one's lower. That one's lower than this one is. You can, I think they're, over the years have bowed and stuff a little bit, but if you can see right there, it's pretty level. But I have it up on a shim there, and that side is just right on top of it. So these are all kind of out of whack each other in elevation. They're all generally pretty level, whatever direction you want to call that. But if you put a floor on this, it's going to be kind of wavy. So may end up just sistering new joists to these and leveling those, because that would probably be a lot easier than trying to level these ones. I mean, I do have a electric hand planer, which I showed you I think in one video, out in my Connex with all my other tools. So I mean, I could try to use that to shave off where I need things shaved. But the problem with that is, obviously, as you try to shave, or, well, not as you try, as you do successfully shave wood off of these, you're obviously taking wood away, so you're taking a little bit of the strength out of these, because they're already only 7 1/4 or so. And so if you have to take an inch off of one, well, now you have a 2x6 instead of a 2x7. So that might not be the greatest idea versus just sistering up new ones, which, I mean, you could pick whichever one is the highest, and then at least you don't necessarily have to do the one that's highest, because you level it out with the other ones. So if that one is the highest, then you sister a new joist on that one to be the same level with that, and then you just keep going down the row until they're all the same. So at least that saves you one joist that you don't have to do. But we'll see what happens with that. Anywho, so I was just thinking there. I got my shovel in here, which I haven't even dug any of this. This is all rodent. I mean, I've kicked it around, I guess, a little bit. I don't know, these little pieces are, at some point they put this weird edge of concrete to like encapsulate that 2x4 in there, or well, maybe a 2x6, depending on how far out it goes. Which some of it is stable, some of it's not. As you can see, like here, this stuff just comes off. I don't know why they did that, other than to try to make a, what's the word? Try to slope it down for water drainage. So if water go on top of that 2x4 or something, or whatever, it'll slope down and drain onto the ground versus sitting on top. Oh, there's no mouse skeleton there. That's pretty gross as I touch it, but one kind of issue is you got decent sized crack there, decent sized crack there, decent sized crack there, and you got a decent sized crack there, and you have a decent sized crack over there. But again, they put this stuff all the way around and it's just loose. So they did that after at some point. So they poured the main wall, threw that 2x4 up there, and then slapped the concrete on there. Which maybe the concrete was just to keep the 2x4 from, well, no. I was going to say maybe from moving if they didn't want to bolt it down, but they used these bolts here. Old square nuts on there. So I'm not really sure what the point of that is, but I do know those cracks, 1, 2, 3 right in this corner, and then kind of 4 over there, kind of tells me that that corner is falling or sinking. Like, well, that's not the greatest. But I don't even know how deep these are, so I was gonna try to dig with that shovel, see if I can find the bottom, because these might be a foot deep, they might be 2 feet deep, they might be 3 feet deep. Who knows how deep these things are? I feel like they're maybe 2, probably not more than 3, if I had to guess. I think in 1917 this was all dug out by hand, which would suck. And then obviously you'd have to probably get concrete out here on horse and buggy. Maybe they would have a big truck. I mean, big is relative to that time frame. It'd be like trucks going by. I mean, back then a big truck would be like a, like a Chevy, Colorado or something now, or like a Ford Ranger, where it's like, yeah, it'll carry like 1,000 pounds. Well, you got, probably 20,000 pounds of concrete here, so you're going to be making a lot of trips with that. So point being, deeper you go, more concrete you need. A lot more work back in the day. So usually they went as minimal as they could. I gotta start thinking about a way that I can dig these out. Well, not dig these out, but stabilize these. I'm gonna dig it out now, hopefully. We'll see. I might be jinxing myself because I might be too lazy to dig that out a little bit. See how hard this ground is. We're trying to think about a way to stabilize this corner so it doesn't fall more. Which I think I can, well, I know I can get an auger attachment for the Mini X where I could throw a, you know, like a 4-foot sonotube, like 12-inch in this corner, fill it up with concrete. Well, first I'd drill some epoxy or not drill some epoxy, I can't think of words right now. Drill some rebar into that corner, especially where, you know, between those two cracks where it's falling real bad. Drill some rebar into that, epoxy them in there, and then pour concrete and encapsulate that all with concrete. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or a good enough idea or not. It could just be a bad idea. I don't want to have to jack the whole house up and re-pour the foundation. That would not be very fun. But I was going to put supports in the center here. To support this span of joists. But maybe what I could do too is essentially replace that foundation, not really, but help take a lot of the weight and stress off of it. If I did a basically concrete pillar with a sonotube with drilling with the Mini X, because I can take this siding off and my boom should fit between the studs pretty easy. So if I can get that to fit through the studs, you know, let's say, drop it right here, dig a hole, you know, skip one joist, dig a hole, skip a joist, dig a hole, skip a joist, dig a hole. Do that all the way down, let that cure up, and then put a beam there. And then that would at least hold the weight of the building. That way, if this concrete does keep eroding and, you know, deteriorating, if it settles, it's going to settle the weight onto the pillars versus just continuing to fall down. Which hasn't sunk much. I chucked. Let's see if I can grab this level here real quick. This one would be the worst one if any of them were. As you can see, it's on the one there. This thing does not like to focus on that very well. But it's barely touching the left side line, which means that this side does need to go up. Oh, dang it. This thing's hard to manhandle with one hand. That's a lot better right there. I don't know if you'll see that. That's with maybe 1/2 inch or 3/8 spacer there. Knock that off because that's gonna fall again. So I mean, it's only fell 3/8 in that corner, even with all those cracks. You know, maybe 1/2 inch. So it's not the worst thing in the world. Actually, after 108 years, I would say that's pretty freaking good. But I would like this thing to last another 108 years. And with those cracks there, is it going to last that long? I don't know. I mean, if you're falling, let's call it even 1/2 inch every 100 years, another 100 years, I mean, you're going to be down 1 inch, which 1 inch is pretty major, but I think things would rapidly accelerate because the first several decades, I'm sure this thing stayed pretty perfect. But we'll see what happens. Might have to get, I mean, I have to follow rules on what do you call it, permits and stuff like that. So we'll probably have to send an engineer out here anyway, because all this is structural, and I could do it without it, but I'd like to at least prove that I'm doing it to code, just in case, you know, especially mortgage companies. And I don't ever plan on selling this place, but if I ever absolutely had to, it'd be nice. You can see that laser level line is right above that ridge there. If you come down here, it's right below that ridge, maybe 1/4 inch below that ridge. And so that kind of double checks the level, that from there to there, 1/2 inch. I mean, obviously the laser level is really only measuring from there to there, or giving a reference line from there to there. Yeah, I think if I can get an attachment for the Mini X, come in, drill some holes, maybe maybe I drill rebar into there to try to support it, maybe not. I was just thinking I could drill, like I said, maybe I'm no engineer, but I do have a natural sense of how to build things right. At least I believe that I have that ability. Whether the people with the degrees agree with me or not, that's another thing to be told. But I feel like if I drill a hole every other one, so basically every 4 foot, because I think these are 2 foot spacing. I can double check that real quick. Yeah, you're 2 foot spacing. So only like 3/16 off on their spacing on that one. That's pretty good. But anyway, so basically every 4 feet, and let's say I come out 2 feet from the wall, build a form, all the way down. I mean, I drill a hole every 2 feet, build a form all the way down, and then I might have to dig that foundation out a little bit, at least to be level. But if I could do two rebars stacked, like a rebar 4 inches down from the top, and then maybe another one 4 inches down from that. So, 8 inches from the top, put the bottom one, 4 inches from the top, put the top one. Do that you can call it every foot. Do that every foot. Build a form out here, 2 feet out from the wall, and then just fill the whole thing in with concrete. So you'll have the holes every 2 feet, but then you'll have a whole 2 foot foundation. And so the piers would support that, the center 2 feet. So you have a hole like 12-inch diameter, pier, 2 feet of space, another 12-inch one. I mean, give or take, it might be 3 feet because you only have 12-inch hole, but whatever. Yeah, so then you just pour all the concrete at the same time into the tube, and then on top. Then that way those tubes will, at least my theory, in my opinion, those tubes would build up or hold up the rest of the concrete. But I'm not a code engineer, so what I think would be fine for my own house, unfortunately, doesn't matter to them. I mean, this place has stand for 108 years, and it's only sagging maybe half an inch. So it's not like I'm actually trying to fix major structural problems. That would just be to make sure the next 100 years this wall doesn't fall down, which I think it would do that just fine. Anyway, I'm gonna set you guys right here. I'm gonna see if I can dig through here.
Like I can do today. It's November the 4th. 6:30. And I don't know what the outcome will be tomorrow, but I wrote this song called It's About Time. Every day I dread tomorrow. Every day I dwell on the past. Am I going fucking crazy, or is everyone else? Is everyone else? I swear I'm losing my mind. should have just as soon been left alone. Lord, please don't forget me. I see you on the other side. It's been a long time coming. It's about time. Six strings and a cell phone, young man running far from home. I left all I love with what little I own. Left hand lane of my leaving home. I had some dreams I slowly let die. The third shift plane down in North Carolina. Mama asked me how I'm doing. We're doing just fine. And I'd hang up the phone and I'd break down crying. We're sick, strange, and a cell phone. Young man running far from home. Well, they took down the statue of Robert E. Lee, about the drugs and the thugs and the crime in the street, and his 5,000 children with nothing to eat, in the street sweeper slinging needles right up to your feet.
All right. Well, that didn't take very long. You do have a root down there from the tree that's right there, which I knew that because you could see it from outside. And I suspected it came through this corner. I mean, you could see it go under the foundation out there. I assume it came through this corner, cut out, went back out that way, because outside this wall is the septic tank. So that's where all the water would be out here. And so that tree is going to easily find that septic tank and just go bloop, right back out the wall. But it looks like right up there is the bottom of it. So you're only talking a foot deep of a foundation, which I find kind of funny, because if you build a house now out here, we know that turn this off. We know that the frost line is a foot, generally, or not a foot. Dum can't even speak at the moment. We know the frost line is about 3 feet, and so you would not be able to do it a foot deep foundation these days. You'd have to go 3 feet. So I'm trying to get this camera to sit at a decent angle. So I'm going to do right there a little bit. But yeah, so code now basically says at least 36 inches, which is 3 feet, to get below the frost line. And what that really does is your frost line, I don't know if you can see my hands. Yeah, you can see my hands there. Your frost line is so far under the top of the soil, and so it really just depends on your climate and how cold you get. The colder your climate, further down the frost line is. And really what the frost line means is that's as low or as far into the ground as the ground will ever freeze. Because everybody knows that you go far enough underground, you're at a constant temperature. I don't even know what that constant temperature is, like 50 degrees, somewhere in the 50-degree range, maybe high 40s. And that's how they used to somewhat refrigerate things back in the day, is you take a cellar and your cellar stays a nice constant, you know, high 40s, low 50s or something like that. You can Google what the exact temperature is and get a real answer other than me just rambling. But point being, you put, oh my god, what the heck is that sound? Anyway, point being, you put your foundation below that frost line, so that way when that ground above the frost line freezes, which is why it's called the frost line, if it freezes, the moisture in it is going to expand, just like if you throw a can of soda, aluminum can, or a plastic one, or I mean anything, a water bottle, any liquid that's in the sealed container, throw that into a freezer, and when it freezes, it's most likely going to explode, because that moisture in the water in it expands as it freezes, and that's just what happens. So above your frost line, your dirt is constantly freezing, and any of the moisture in it expands, which expands the soil. And so between the years of freezing, thawing, and even within the season, especially around here in Colorado, it'll get, you know, way below zero. Maybe not way below zero, but I've seen negative 20, negative 30 degrees out here, but it'll get way below freezing for sure. So it gets below freezing, and then the next week it's 50, 60 degrees, sometimes 70 degrees, and then the next week again it's below freezing and it's snowing again. So you get this constant movement of soil expanding, soil contracting, expanding, contracting, expanding, contracting, expanding, contracting, every time the soil freezes, and it, you know, extracts, and then it thaws out, and then it goes back. And also, everyone knows your concrete, generally speaking, holds moisture, and so the moisture within the concrete is also expanding, which can crack your concrete. I keep hearing things like a bird or something running around in here. I mean, all my windows and stuff are open. But anyway, that's a long rambling to say you bury your foundation below the frost line, and so that way the soil that it's sitting on isn't getting eroded away or moving, which they usually call it heaving, when it expands and contracts, because this just being a foot, which most of it is above ground. I mean, it's only, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches at best. Not even that, probably like 2. And I think right here, this might just be the bottom of it, where there's kind of this hole here from rodents or something. Or maybe they just dug this hole and never cared to fill it in. The point being, when your foundation is basically sitting on top of the soil is going to expand when it freezes, and then contract and go back down. Expand when it freezes, contract and go back down. And so that's going to lift up the foundation a little bit. Yeah, we're talking very minor movements, but it's going to lift it up and it's going to settle back down, and then it's going to lift it up, and it's going to settle it back down. It's going to lift it up, it's going to settle back down. And so what that's essentially doing is every time it goes up and down and up and down and up and down, it's very slowly compacting that dirt, because it's going up and then it starts thawing out, and it's usually at that point wet, so it's compacting that wet soil back down, compacting that wet soil back down, and that's you get concrete movement, which behind the camera, which I'll show you later. I don't want to move the camera right now because it's propped up how I want it. But I have another stem wall foundation that runs inside of that, or in the middle of the house. Well, that, assuming your house is heated at a nice constant temperature, that concrete and that soil around it is never going to freeze. Well, hopefully it's never going to freeze. Very less likely to freeze than the outside soil, because outside is just outside. This is the inside of the house, so if it's heated, your heat is going to heat up your crawl space, even if there's no vents or anything in it. It's just naturally going to heat it up because of the air that's moving around in the house. It's going to get in the foundation area. Point being, that center wall not going to move like the outside ones are. And so that's why all of this is sloped out and sagging on the outside wall. At least that's my theory and my opinion. People could prove me wrong on that one if they want to. But I think that's, generally speaking, a good. I don't think "good" is the right word, but that's an accurate description of kind of what's going on. Right here, we got this chunk of concrete that was splooged over when they built this. Yeah, this dirt is freaking hard in here. Yep, that's the bottom of that. And it is like perfectly a foot too, I think. The other side was basically perfectly a foot. That's pretty close to a foot. So yeah, so this whole foundation is only a foot deep. This is the center foundation that I was telling you about. So this is going to stay at a different temperature than that foundation will. Throughout the seasonal changes that you can see. This has popped out 1/2 inch at the top. And obviously there's a crack there. There's a crack there. Oh, I think there's another little crack there. I don't know if that's necessarily a crack or just a cold joint in the corner, depending how they formed it up and poured it. The center could have been poured after the outside walls, and then they just cold jointed it there. This is very, very likely. So that may not necessarily be a crack. Come over here. You really don't have any cracks. You have this big crack in the corner, which that goes all the way through because it's, you can feel air coming through it, and that goes actually into there. And so maybe drilling a couple supports in here, throwing a beam under these joists wouldn't be a bad idea. I really don't think they're not moving that much, but just to make myself feel a little bit better. Kind of being lazy right now. I should move that pile of wood, but I think tomorrow I might be moving all these bags out. So checking my phone real quick there. But yeah, tomorrow I think I'm gonna try to load these bags up. Either tomorrow or the next day I gotta unload the dump trailer. And it just got some, doesn't have trash in it, it's got some shelving that I picked up. My brother-in-law and sister picked it up, but currently has their crap in it. So I gotta get that unloaded, and then the place that's gonna take this is like an hour, 20 minutes away from here, or something like that. So I'll try to get this all loaded up in the trailer. Gonna double bag it and all that good, stupid, fun stuff. It's not really stupid. It is asbestos. Well, I think it's asbestos anyway. Oh, you can see right here, which I think this is why my corner is settling, because somebody decided it would be a good idea to dig out under this foundation, which, as we discovered, it's only a foot thick anyway, which is really not that much when you start getting into, you know, foundations and stuff. I don't even know if I'd put a freaking pole barn on a foot of concrete, let alone a whole house. But again, this crap lasted a very long time. I put these bricks here, which I feel like this is after the house was built for a while. And because there's this pipe that I have no idea where the heck that thing goes or what it's for. But I guess I didn't show you the reason I even came and crouched over here. As you can see, there's this big crack here filled with dirt because that has settled. Oh, thought I heard something. Because that has settled. I mean, and then the planter dirt on top of there, probably mixed with rotting wood. But I think that compromised the foundation in this corner, because I know this corner is probably down 3 inches, maybe upwards of 5 inches. This is where all my bags of asbestos is, so I'm not sure yet on exactly what's going on, because I haven't ripped up that floor yet, obviously. So I need to do that. But I don't know if, because this is the kitchen, bathroom, I know there's a lot of water leakage and stuff, which that might be why they dug this hole, to try to get access to underneath the house without having to go through the floor, which is a lot more expensive and harder to replace than just digging a hole there. But I don't know if the joists are rotted and crumbling and that's why the floor is sagging, or if it's the foundation, which I can tell from right now, it's a lot of it is the foundation. Some of it could also be rotting floor joists. So if your foundation falls 2 inches, your floor joist rot out and they sag, let's say 2 inches. Well, now you have 2 inches of, you know, total sag in this corner. And I hope it's that, in a sense. I mean I kind of hope it has a good floor joist too, because I don't know if I really want to replace the floor joist, because it looks kind of a pain how this was built. But in my opinion, it's easier to lift the floor joist than it is to lift the foundation. So it's easier to replace floor joists, I should say that. It's easier to replace the floor joists than it is to try to accurately lift up the whole foundation. But I have a feeling I'm going to lift up this foundation anyway, which, like I said, I might just do holes, drill them 3 or 4 feet deep, throw concrete in it, throw a new foundation wall basically on the inside, and hopefully that would be good enough to support it. I mean, like, this hole is stupid. I'm going to fill this hole back in. It was covered with a piece of plywood on top of these cinder blocks, so I didn't even know this was here, because it was filled with a bunch of these rocks, like a little rock flower garden thing, or whatever you want to call that. And then they covered it with dirt, and then they covered it with rocks, and I didn't even know it was there when I bought this place until I was using the Mini X. And I was like, I don't like all these rocks here. Mostly because I know I'm going to be re-siding this, and it was up. You know, I mean, it's still kind of up on the siding. I was like, well, I got to take all that out anyway, so I was bored, and I was playing with the Mini X, and I threw them over on top of the rock pile on top of the storm shelter. Point being, I didn't know about this when I bought the house. I could feel that this corner was sagging, so I didn't not know about it, but I didn't know this access point was here. Yeah, didn't even meet the previous owners because they passed away. It was an estate deal. But I don't even know if they knew this was here, depending on how long they lived here for. They probably knew it was here. I mean, these concrete blocks, don't quote me on this. I don't know very much about concrete block world, but I feel like concrete blocks like that with the centers cut out and stuff, I feel like those were not a thing in 1917. Maybe like in the 50s or in the 60s for sure, but 1917, I don't know if we were quite doing that yet. So I think this was all done later. Might have been done probably around the time indoor plumbing became a thing, because this is the bathroom, and so maybe they dug this out so they could get under the floor to retrofit some indoor plumbing, because they probably had an outhouse out here somewhere. But anyway, at least that is dug out, and I could dig it out more with the excavator super easy. So if I can do that, dig it out a bunch, maybe I might be able to drill a hole with the auger kind of at an angle, try to get as deep as I can. But if I can do that, fill that all up with jack this foundation up, and then fill that all up with concrete. Well, I don't know what's best. I don't know. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on it. I don't know what's best. If it's better to try to jack this concrete up, even though it might be, it's super cracked. Even though it might be compromised like that, jack it up, put new concrete under it to support it, or if it would be better to jack up the floor joists and then just, maybe like from the door over, and maybe just, this corner's do a new add-on here, so I'll just see how that goes. But I can definitely dig this up, and I was going to do a new foundation around here anyway. So if I go from like that corner of that door to the corner of that wall, jack up the house, rip out the old foundation, redig a new foundation, pour it, set the house back onto it, or jack up the floors, jack up the concrete, at least in the sections that are actually falling, and then pour new concrete under that concrete. I feel like all new concrete would be the better way to go. But you can see where the bottom of this foundation is. It's that white line there. It's only about 6 inches or something, I think. Like, I'm not sure if this was done the same time as the rest of the house. It's like 10 inches, 6 inches, I don't know. I'm really hoping that concrete is not attached to the house foundation concrete, because I want to rip that concrete out. And I guess worst comes to worst, I can cut it along the foundation and crack it and chip it off. But it'd be nice if it just all came out, which we'll see how good the Mini X here is at ripping concrete out. But here we got the excavator. This bucket is like that bucket's pretty wide at the top, 19 inches at the top. Oh yeah, 19 to there. It's like 21 from fin to fin, or whatever those things are called. I don't know why they call this a 16-inch bucket. Well, it's clearly like 18-inch bucket. So that bucket will not fit through the 16-inch spacing of the studs. And so I'm not going to be able to dig. Unless if I get a smaller bucket, I wouldn't be able to dig inside of the house, because I was thinking if I took the siding off, if I could just go in between each stud, dig it out, you know, move over in between each stud and keep doing that. I thought, you know, maybe that would be a possibility. Not with that bucket. If I get a smaller bucket, like a 12-inch or something, would be a lot more reliable for that. But here, like all this stuff, I mean, it's, well, this joint, I don't know if you can, well, we'll just go to here because it's about the same distance. 6 inches there, with the light on there, 12 inches. That thing's 11 inches, the thumb on there. So if I take that bucket off, get a smaller bucket, I could fit through the studs and dig stuff out on the inside if I needed to. But the main thing is my my auger bit, if I get one, attaches to, I want to say that one attaches to this pin. Oh no, I got grease all over my tape measure. Well, I think it goes to that pin. Did they have a dual cradle one that I think would go to both of these? But I was like, well, it's also like $600 more just to go dual cradle versus single pin. Actually, well, the single pin actually just goes on this one, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. It's like if I get the whole setup with a 6-inch one, because I want a 6-inch auger to do fence post, and then a 12-inch auger. Thought you're gonna get 6, then you might as well double it to get 12. That way you have a small one and then a larger one. Just like, well, kind of no point in having like a no point in doing a 6-inch and a 10-inch or something like that. So it's like really what's the point at that point? Oh, dang it. Hours on it. I bought it brand new. I mean, it had like 6 hours on it when I bought it, but it still fires right up, which is really nice. Let's see if I can. Should have got. Oh, I think I do have the suction cup in here still. The suction cup. Let's see. Set you guys down right there for a second. Oh, let's see if that stays where it's supposed to. Really, right now I'm just wasting time because I'm lazy to actually do anything, but you know, sometimes that just happens. I wanted to go over here and dig the outside of the foundation. stuff on the screen are upside down, but the image is right side up, so we'll see what that does. And like I was saying, if I take this siding off, I can just go right into the house and then drill a hole down. At least I think I can do that. I may not be able to under that window. It's only, well, under that window or the other window. I mean, that window on the left side there, you see how it's open. I could just throw the whole boom through the window. Well, until I have to go down 4 feet. But at least I can start it that way. way to the left than it does to the right. So you've probably seen this in previous videos, but show it to you there. There's that tree I was talking about. You can see right there, it's got a big root. And there it goes, and it goes under the foundation. And those are the roots I assume that I was just digging up on the other side. So, that actually reminded me I needed to go upstairs and get some measurements. But I basically was digging that just for the funsies of doing it. I already knew from digging on the inside that foundation's only a foot deep. But yeah. That's pretty much it. I really wanna drive this thing around and go mini axe. Oh no, don't scratch my mini axe. Man, that fucking piece of metal trim there is a lot stronger than I thought it might be. Thing's freaking better built than a Cybertruck is. So we can try to grab the steering wheel. comes upright no matter which way you spin it. I don't know if that's a setting that I did for that, or if that's just what it does, but there we go. 9018F. This little sticker is getting beat up because I keep doing stupid stuff like lifting my boat. And I use this thing as a plow for tumbleweeds. It hasn't snowed yet since I've bought it. I mean, not like a major amount of snow. So I'm going to be curious to see how it... Oh, I forgot my tape measure. I'm curious to see how it performs in the snow. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it does in the snow. If it's just gonna get like instantly stuck. I mean, it's on tracks, so I mean, tracked vehicles, generally speaking, are at least decent in the snow. That's why we have whatchamacallem, snowmobiles, obviously tracked vehicles. Let's see what we got here. We got 66 inches. It's not really what I'm looking at. 66 on that side. Oh, 61. Looks like it's 5 inches bigger. Doing that right? Oh, 2 inches bigger. I think 60, basically 62 and 3/4. 61 and like 1/4. So it's an inch different. 13 2 inches. I'll tell you why I'm doing this in a minute. Actually, I'll probably just turn these lights on. That might be nice. One, maybe a half. A little bit of a difference there. But that add-on back there, back where we parked to the Mini X. We'll see, turn this light on. That add-on right there, it's kind of weird because it goes, I'll never show you, it goes a little bit past the house there. You can kind of see that roof like dives back down. It goes like 2 feet past the wall that way, and then this way it only goes to about right here. So then the rest of this wall is open, which that's the corner of the foundation that's saying that's sinking and all that stuff. So now you got your reference and some bearing there. You can tell up here that right here is the support wall. Well, I guess it's not really right there, is it? Well, right there is where the floor joists meet. or the ceiling joists, or whatever you want to call them. Up here they're floor joists, down there they're ceiling joists. But this line, I mean, you can literally feel it just by standing on it, how much it's sinking that way, because it's sinking that way, so it's lifting this end up and pushing up, making a pyramid right here, whatever you want to call it. Like down here, feels pretty straight, feels pretty straight, feels pretty straight. You hit right there, you can feel it popping up, and then you go this way, you can feel it moving down. Anyway, that's not the point of why I came up here. I was on Menard's website not too long ago. I need to clean up that asbestos up there. I need to clean a lot of the asbestos up here, honestly. Probably should be wearing my respirator, but I'm not. Anywho, I was on Menards, that's what I was saying, and they have trusses. I'm trying to figure out, because so this is, well, I guess I'll explain the first part so you understand what I'm trying to say. I want to take down that add-on and rebuild it, and that was my original plan, is just rebuild it how it is, but all the way out to that wall, and then maybe like, well, even with that wall, and then maybe an extra 5 feet out, which right now it's about 10 feet. If I went 15 feet, that was kind of my plan and my reasoning there. But well, I thought I was doing some measurements, because to get in there you have to kind of step down from the main floor to get in there. You only have a little bit of room, maybe 1.5 feet up to this bottom of this window, which you could make this window smaller. Anyway, I don't know if I can get enough slope to go 15 feet out and still have 8-foot ceilings inside of there while not having to step down, because I would like it to be as seamless as possible so it doesn't feel or look like some weird add-on, kind of like it is now. Another issue is you have to contend with the edges of the roof and that rafter there, or not the rafter, the, what's that called, the rake edge going over the gable. Anywho, I started thinking, well, what if I take that add-on down and then rebuild basically to extend the whole house out. So extend the main floor out and also extend the second floor out. So then that leads us to this is a balloon framed house. So you can see you have a ledger board on top of, well, not on top of, but you have a ledger board carved into your 2x4 wall there, which then your floor joist for the second floor sit on top of the ledger board, and then on, you know, above that you have your double top plate like you normally would on a house. So here's kind of the issue. I mean, this was built back in the day when you could just do whatever the heck you wanted. So I was going on Menard's website looking at trusses, and so this is a 24-foot span from over there to over there, from wall to wall. These floor joists are split in the middle, so they're not continuous. There's one set on that side, one set on that side. So I'm trying to think with normal, with if I get a pre-manufactured roof truss, which maybe I could special order it to not be this way, it's going to have its bottom cord, which these do not. These simply sit on the wall. They go up, they get supported by the little pony wall. They go up there, you got your whatever the heck you call that board. I know what it's called, but I can't remember it right now, so we're gonna move on. Then it goes back down, obviously supported by this little pony wall again, and then back on top of the floor joist, or the top plate there of that wall. I don't know if that's legal anymore. Obviously, they're not going to make me tear this down and put brand new trusses in, because that would be silly. They're not that mean about building codes yet. But if I add on a whole another 15 feet out that way of this house, my new area is obviously going to have trusses. So would they continue to allow me to balloon frame and do a ledger board like that, so that way I could match that all the way out, and then either get some rafters made or make my own to match this style? Or am I going to have to order them with the bottom cord, which if I ordered it with the bottom cord, which is essentially your floor joist, become your, the bottom cord becomes your floor joist. So I'd have to build an 8-foot wall instead of whatever that is, like 10 foot. So I'd have to build an 8-foot wall, so my bottom cord sits on top of the wall, like these floor joists sit on top of that ledger board when I build my wall out, so that way this all matches and my floor can just run continuous through there. And I don't know if I will be able to take this wall out. I think I could definitely make a big door here, because you see we have a header that runs from here to here over this window, and also on the bottom. So and they don't really know how to build headers, it's just stacked on top of there. So anyway, I feel like I could take this section out from that stud to that stud, so I leave those studs, but take out that window and the foot or so on each side, cut those studs even with the floor, drops the sill plate even with the floor, or whatever, I don't know, however you want to say that. You keep that header, I mean that header's probably fine-ish, well, maybe it could go up a little bit, I don't know. But I think I could take out that middle section without compromising the structure any more than it already is. And then you'll just have to walk through a little walkway to get into the new add-on, which, let me see, I'm not sure what distance we got here. What do we got? 11.5 foot, essentially, or not 11.5, 10.5 feet. And I want to go out another 15, so this would be 25 feet. And I told you in another video, maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't, but I want, well, these two walls I'm going to take out because they're not supporting anything. And I don't like them there. But I was going to make my bedroom space here in this section, which this is 13 by, how long is this? Oh, 13 by 13. Obviously a little bit of a sloped attic roof here, but this was going to turn into my master bedroom, which, checking out my calculator, 13 by 13, so 169 square feet, which that's pretty nice. Gotta throw that 69 in there. But anyway, wanted to make this area the bedroom, and like I said, these walls won't be here. I might make this staircase a little bit wider by taking out this area that's like painted in green, because it's not really doing anything, because you got your next floor joist right there, which basically runs under this wall here. So I can just take these joists out and push that out, and then make this a little bit wider. That way it's a little bit easier to get furniture and large items up the stairs. And also, if I ever do stay into this house until I'm old and crippled, might end up needing a stair lift, and it would just be a lot nicer if this was wider. And since I'm already here taking everything apart, might as well make it wider now instead of wider down the road, and when it's just going to cost a lot more money than time to put everything back together. But anyway, so take this wall out, take that wall out. There'll be a railing around it for safety reasons, and take these walls out. But I figured bedroom over there. And originally, before I thought of making a second story add-on, I was going to do just a closet over here, and then maybe, come out like 2 feet from the wall, frame it all the way across, and put like a toilet on that side, sink on that side, keep that window there. So we have a little bit of a half bath, because if you're old, or if you're just, whatever, wake up in the middle of the night, you gotta go to the bathroom, or you're sick, or whatever the case may be, you don't want to have to get up, run all the way downstairs, all the way down, and then go into the bathroom down there, which actually the bathroom I was going to move to the add-on. And so you'd have to go even further. I was like, well, that would suck. You wake up at 2 in the morning, you have to walk all the way down your stairs and trip and fall and stumble through the night just to go to the bathroom. So like, well, I could put a little toilet there, a little sink here. But now I'm thinking, if this is 10.5 feet, if I throw another 15 feet on it, or maybe just another 10 feet, honestly, because, well, I still want to do other stuff downstairs. But yeah, so, whatever, 10 or 15 feet. We'll call it 15 feet for argument's sake. Go another 15 feet, still make this area the whole closet, so I can have, like big old built-in on this side, big old built-in on this side, his and hers, maybe like on this wall I could do either a sitting area, so a little bench so you can put your shoes on, and maybe like shoe storage under it, or put a desk, so that way you could have a desk with like a nice mirror attached to it. Obviously there's going to be like a railing, that wall's not going to be there. This wall might end up getting put back here, I don't know, we'll have to see. But I was going to try to keep this all open so it feels, because right now it feels nice and big, because you can see from here all the way to the other side. And before it was, obviously all covered, and so it felt kind of small and cramped. I'm trying to make, small house feel big. So either, like I said, put a seating area here so you can put your shoes on and off and, you know, sit down to get ready or clip your toenails or whatever, and or make it a desk with a mirror, so if you're doing makeup or doing your hair, not that I do those things, but maybe I'll have someone in my life that is doing those things, that would be a good spot for it. And then on that side, make that whole 15 by 13, which is ironic because it'd be bigger than my bedroom, into a master suite bathroom. And maybe a little more closet and storage space. We'll have to see. But that was kind of my thing, because this is 10 by 13, which is the size of like a decent bedroom. And so basically a bedroom sized closet here, and then another bedroom sized bathroom. Because at this point in my life, I mean, we'll see if I have kids or not, but I'm not building this to be, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 bedrooms or whatever. It's going to be a fairly small house. So to me, there's no point in putting another bedroom. I'm going to have down below here is going to be my office space, which if needed, the office could be converted from an office into a bedroom, you know, and then I could throw an office up here in the closet, or put a desk or something in the bedroom if I, you know, needed to or whatever. So, you know, I want my living space the way that I'm going to use it, and I want it to be as nice as possible. You know, everybody thinks they need 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 square foot houses, which if you have 5 kids, yeah, maybe that's nice. Back in the day, they raised like 20 kids in these little houses, so half of that's just people complaining and being dumb, in my opinion. But you can make a really nice 1,100, 1,200 square foot single bedroom that has a lot of space, big closets, big kitchen, big bathroom, big living room, big dining area, even an office area. Or you can be like everybody else that builds a house and they try to throw 3 or 4 bedrooms in 1,200 square feet, and then everything's just small and tight and cramped. And then you're like, I hate this house. It's too small. I need something bigger. It's like, well, the house isn't too small. That they put like this room. This would be a room, and then that would be a room, and then the room below this would be a room. That's 3 bedrooms, not even counting the add-on, which the add-on doesn't have a bedroom, but there's 3 bedrooms in, I think this is without the add-on, 800 square feet, 900 square feet, because the downstairs is like 660 or something, and then up here's, I mean, over there is 169, and over here is 150 or something, so it's like 900 to 1,000 square feet. Anywho, well, lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I just like to make spaces bigger because I don't need a billion different bedrooms. All I need is 1 bedroom and an office. So, not that anyone watches these videos, so this will probably be done before this channel ever gets popular, if this channel ever were to get popular. So at this point, I'm just talking to myself and trying to pretend to be a real YouTuber. Leave me in the comments, should I do a full 2-story add-on, so that way I can extend this out another 10 or 15 feet and do a whole master bathroom ensuite, or just stick to the cheaper and basically already, same style it is now, and just extend the single level out, because I was going to put a big bathroom down there, and then I could still put a little bathroom up here, a little half bath. So we'll see. Kind of leaning towards doing another addition, or a two-story addition. So looking, like I said, I was looking on Menards, and you can build rafters on there, and they are about $200 a piece for roughly this size, but I'll have to figure out my wall situation. And so anyway, my phone has 1% battery life on it, so leave me a comment. And if you're smarter than me, tell me, what should I do, and how should I make my rafters work? Oh,